Hey, Merchant Center Mastery people. So apologies because it's been a while since I've done this. On the flip side, if you're seeing this, you probably don't care because you're here to look at Google product descriptions and learn about them. So let's get into that. Before I do, I just want to note, here's part of what I'm doing here. So what I'm trying to do is basically like the most helpful just walkthrough of every single Google Shopping Merchant Center attribute that you can for the product feed. And as you can see, I still have quite a lot to go, but really what I'm just trying to do is get into just having like helpful things so that you can learn not just simply what these attributes are, but like even just really helpful tactical tips for optimizing these attributes. So today we're going to do description, and then I'll fill that in once this video is done. But please do go visit this. So this is on our blog, and I'll get the link into, the comments, the show notes, and that sort of thing. But I think if it's one of those things where my goal is to really crush these out here in 2025, and so definitely keep an eye on that and save that. Today we're going to be talking about product descriptions. So let's get into talking about the description attribute itself. It's a little tricky to know how impactful this is. It's definitely not as impactful as title in terms of, in terms of the actual impact to ranking and syncing with search terms. But if you think about it, it's still giving Google information. In fact, you have lots of information that you can give. There's a couple. There's the description and there's the structured description. Structured description, we'll talk about that just a little bit, but that's like if you're utilizing AI. Generative AI, and I actually want to talk about that a little bit. I think that's less, at least right now, that's just not really, it's not a required attribute. And as far as I know, Google hasn't really required it. So it's more like, it's almost like they're like pleading with you, can you help us train our machine learning by throwing it in there? Typically, I always use the description. Don't tell Google, but even if I'm utilizing ChatGPT, I just put it in the description anyways. Screw the structured description, in my opinion, until they, make this work some sort of requirement. That being said, the description attribute, you have up to 5,000 characters. That might not sound like a lot. It's a lot. And the reason I say that is because this is, in my opinion, the chance to stuff the crap out of your like the keywords, the main things you wanna focus on. So titles, right? We've talked about the titles before. You really want to get what your consumers are searching for the most. You want to get those as front as possible, and you have a very limited subset of characters that you can include in your title. And even then, there's just a very, very, very limited amount, of what will actually show. Let me quick show you that. So like right here, right? There's a limited amount immediately that you can even see until you expand it. And even then, like on this one, even then you're limited. So all that to say, description can be a great option then for actually getting additional helpful information in there. And we'll talk about that, and we'll walk through kind of how, I utilize generative AI, to create a description. But one of the things that is helpful to be aware of with the description that we've learned is to front load the key information into the first 145 to 880 characters. So check this out. So, in this random one that I picked, you have basically a limited amount of things that are even going to be seen. So if someone is actually looking through the description, which I don't think many people are, but if they are, then get that information, the most important stuff up front. And even then, frankly, to be completely honest, I kind of think this might have more to do with Google's ranking of like, I wouldn't be surprised if Google in their complex algorithms have different ways of weighting what is in your first 150 characters as opposed to what's at character 4,000. Regardless, that's something just to keep in mind. All right, you have like 180 characters, and then you have 5,000 characters, and that's going to work into how our ChatGPT prompt too, by the way. And then it's just. Let's see, it's important to note that there are a few things that Google will say you can't have in a description. And what I'll say is these are policies, and even then, so far, they're somewhat soft policies. Now, if you get like emojis in, you'll probably see in your actual Google Shopping listing, sometimes if you hop into it, you'll actually see that it'll say something like, it'll say disapproved or edit to make it. Well, here, let me add in an emoji and kind of show you. Let's see. I'll be like, boom, the reader, boom. Okay, yeah, there you go. Okay, so I can just show you. Show rather than tell, right? So you'll see an error right there, and then you'll have to adjust that. So Google is increasing that too of what they show. So there are going to be certain things in descriptions that Google will note right away. You're not supposed to have promotional text, things like free shipping, on sale now. You're not supposed to have capitalization, links to other websites, products. This one says comparison with other products or brands. Again, like we do that all the time. It's a good way of actually getting your competitors into your description so you can hopefully rank better for them until that loophole is shut down. So again, like some of these are more of like recommendations, soft recommendations, and some of these are very hard recommendations. Obviously, and also, by the way, what I said earlier, brands, things like that, some of that involves the use of trademarks. So I'm going to say this does not constitute legal advice, so please consult with your lawyer if you need them to think through what's on the description. A lot of you are reading this from varying levels and sizes of companies. I get that. You might have quite a bit more stringent corporate policies than a lot of our clients who are like new brands, where we can kind of be a little bit Wild West in the shopping ads, feed optimization arena. Okay, so and then one other thing I'll note too, by the way, is as you are crafting descriptions, especially if you're using generative AI, please make sure it does actually match the website. Okay, that it's actually pulling the proper product. So let me now kind of show you how I think about this. So how I think about actually creating, and I think that ChatGPT and generative AI and that whole thing, I really think that's changed the name of the game for product descriptions quite seriously, because a lot of times you and your clients probably have some sort of product page that just sucks for information. I haven't searched for this at all, but lately I've been looking for some car parts. So I have a 2019 Mercedes C43 AMG, and it's the coupe. And let's say I want air intakes. So, I might look through these different ones, and let me pick a free product listing, so I'm not costing them money. Okay, so here's a great option here. All right, so I got the CTS turbo intake system, which, by the way, for cars, air intakes aren't like cold air intakes don't really do that much unless it's a true cold air intake. But what they do is like they might increase horsepower just a little bit, but the expense and how long, what they do is they make it sound freaking awesome, all right? Especially with like turbos, then you can really hear the turbo spool up, and oh, so cool. But all that to say, so this is an example. Okay, it's funny, Euro tuning, good job. You actually did a fairly good job of like lining this out. But here's what I'm gonna do to show you this. I think there is a wealth of information that typically doesn't get pulled into the description. So in Euro tuning, let's say they're using Shopify, which they probably are. You can check that out pretty easily, by the way, just by like at some point, just like see they're using Shopify. By the way, you can also see the store. You can also get the actual store URL, like if you need to connect them, by doing the shop thing. Oh, there it was. Yeah, right there. Oh, nope, that's, right there. Shop Europe. So that's their actual Shopify domain. That's how you can find that. If you're an agency and you're trying to connect with clients for Shopify, you can actually just grab that URL. That's free. That's totally separate. I digress. Typically what will happen is, let's say you're utilizing an app like Simprosys or Multi-Feeds and Shopify or even the Google Shopping app, and all it's doing is pulling the description. Probably what that's doing, oh my gosh, I don't know why, but this page is like the scrolling is annoying. Probably what it's doing is pulling this right here. Boom, that's it. That's what it's pulling. What you can do is you can start, I mean, there's a wealth of information, even like what, like this is an example of like, I would want this stuff in a review. Because did you see how I searched? I searched for my specific car and cold air intake, right? And I want to know that my specific car and that can be utilized. And then here's another super interesting thing is you have reviews, and what you can get with reviews is information about how your customers see and talk about your product. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to copy and paste this URL. Sorry, you can't see it. And we are going to go into ChatGPT, and I've created this prompt, and I'm going to share this prompt with you in the comments. You might have other prompts even better, or the add to this. Please share it too. Like let's use like all of us, our think tank, to make like the best product description prompt. But here's what I have so far. You're a Google Merch Center and PMAX expert, like Merch Center Mastery. And then here's another one I like, Feed Army. Yeah, he's great. Read everything you can on the ideal way to build a Google Shopping product feed description here. So then I have the product feed description. So basically I'm telling them, you know, go look at this, figure out optimization, and then now take this product. And now I'm saying, make sure to get the most important information and keywords in the first 150 characters, write up to 5,000 characters, right? How about I say, write at least 4,500 characters, but less than, that'll really expand it. Also, create this as if you were an SEO expert. So find the main keywords. And then what I might do as well, and how they would normally search. Okay, so what we have, and we even have some images, which is cool in case you want to get some additional images in there. Man, those look cool. Okay, so what I would do then, oh shoot, and then sometimes sometimes you have to tell it to remove the source. Please remove all source links. I should add that to my prompt too, actually. And then, so another thing here is you could actually like take this and hand this to your client, potentially for SEO, if it's really a terrible site. Again, this is not a good example because they actually have done a decent job in SEO, which is not surprising because zero tuning is pretty well known. Where's my ChatGPT? There it is. Okay, so now what I will do is once that goes, then you're gonna check it all, make sure that it works. So here's what I love. It's like whether you're searching for, and then it throws in like key search terms, right? We get all that into our description. So then I would just save all that, copy, and then you just hop into your Google Shopping feed or app or however you do it, and then boom, once you verify all of the information, just do verify that the information is correct because ChatGPT can screw things up. Get that in there and copy and paste, and then you have this like phenomenally much better description. And then there are some cool ways to do this in bulk you can utilize as well. So, I mean, some of you who are even better at ChatGPT, you'll find ways where you'll like upload a spreadsheet and then you'll say, here are the different titles and build spreadsheet, or here are the different links and build a spreadsheet for all these, whatever it might be. All that to say, that is, I think, how you can relatively quickly get a ton of ridiculously awesome information, especially using now tools that we have at our hands. I'll link to the prompt in the comments. I think descriptions is one of those relatively easy things to do where you can just rip them out and have quite a bit of additional feed optimizations going on for your products. Hope that was helpful to you. Please keep an eye on this page so that you'll see all of my different videos in the future for all the different attributes. In the meantime, keep optimizing your shopping feed. I didn't really think through this ending at all. See ya.